Welcome to the Ingress Insights podcast, hosted by Pokemon Trainer Jay. Ingress Insights is a podcast about the Niantic game Ingress. Listen each week for the latest news, updates and rumours. Let us know your thoughts by leaving a voice message or emailing us at the links in the show notes.
Additional intel available.
So what even is an anomaly, you may ask if you've not played one before or not attended one for Ingress. Ingress define it two different ways on their help pages, so I'm going to go through and read those first of all and then give my view in a bit more detail. So the Ingress team say anomaly events are concentrated surges of XM that attract thousands of agents to key anomaly sites around the globe. These events typically include 5 hours of intense portal activity, with both factions battling for control of key portals and cells. The outcome of each anomaly series can change the course of the Ingress timeline and backstory. Each anomaly attended grants you a special medal to your agent profile for contributions towards your faction's goal. Then they have another bit that mentions an Ingress XM anomaly event is a series of free Ingress events that you play as a team with other local and visiting agents against the other faction. These events are for Ingress players of all levels and last approximately 5 to 6 hours, including 3 to 4 hours of walking/biking gameplay. Some events may have a social meetup at the end. In addition, your faction may plan pre- and post-anomaly faction events. If you'd like to get in contact with your faction in advance, see how you can contribute. It does list there about the local faction representative, but I'm not sure whether that link works. But I will link to the page where you can check that yourself. I took a moment to check it. It doesn't work, but I'll link to the page anyway. Those are Niantic's definition of what an XM anomaly is. There's been various ones over the years, all with different names. So we've had Cryptic Memories, Shared Memories, Umbra, Dosana Prime. I think there was one that was going to be called Requiem that ended up being Superposition or the other way around. There's been anomalies during COVID that were done in a different way. Generally, it's a big in-person event that happens, as it says, over the course of 5 to 6 hours. And generally what you'll do is communicate with your team before the event to get sorted into a smaller team so you know what you're doing, what area you'll be covering. The Resistance generally use the website willbe.blue, whereas the Enlightened generally use the website enl.rocks, and then you'll be able to see the links on there, and if you confirm your attendance you'll get into various chats and get sorted out from there and say what you can do. Say if you've got less mobility you can say that, and then you won't have to move around as much. If you're keen to go biking you can be part of a bike team or car team, whatever team you will feel best suited in. When you're actually at the event, then it's a case of going around following instructions from above. Basically, you'll have people organising the teams, telling you where you should go, what portals you should be attacking or hacking, and then you're trying to compete on that with your faction. And you're trying to score the most points by either capturing the portals, capturing the shards, or whatever it is for that anomaly. As I say, it all changes around what you should be doing depending on what the Ingress teams say is happening. For the last few years, the Anomaly's main focus has been on shards, so you do have a few events happen before the actual anomalies, such as Urban Ops and Stealth Ops. However, the main point is capturing shards, so making sure they move along links that you've got. And then, as I said, your team will help you organise those and depend where needs to link to what and what needs to be destroyed for the other team. So there's a lot of running around, make sure you're at the right point, make sure you're doing what you should be to help your team win, because there's a lot of points at stake. There's generally 93 points at stake from the flash shards and then 93 points at stake for the battle beacons. So that's your main points that you're scoring there and getting. Once the event wraps up, then the scores are announced by Niantic shortly after. And as I say, if there's anything that changes the lore or the storyline, that's announced at the end of the series. Sometimes it's announced at the end of all the series. So, for example, the Memory series, the lore updates were announced at the end of that, partially. There has been debate with agents whether it actually matters or not, or whether, regardless of who wins, the storyline is going to go where it's going to go. But all in all, it's a fun event to do. And normally you're on the ground with people that are in the same faction as you, people that may have travelled further. There's people who come from like the US or Japan for events I've been to. So I'd encourage you, if there is one that you can get to go and check it out, and you get a medal. You may get other things like bio cards from people. I'll cover that in another thing. But all in all, it's a good event, good to go out and be out playing in the real world, as Ingress say. So that's my basic short, but probably longer than I thought it was going to be, summary of what an XM anomaly is. If you've got anything you want me to add to it or anything you want me to explain further, let me know. I'll endeavour to do that. Thank you, agents, for listening to the latest episode of the Ingress Insights podcast. If you'd like to follow us on social media, you can do that on a few channels. So on Threads under the name ingress.insights, on Instagram under the name ingress.insights as well. Twitter/X, which posts episodes of the podcast, is under Ingress Insights, no dot in that one. And you can also watch these episodes on YouTube under Ingress Insights Podcast. You can send us a voice message by visiting the podcaster's Spotify page. And finally, you can buy Ingress Insights merch, such as mugs, pins, t-shirts, by going to freepublic.com/user/ingress-insights. And on there, you'll see all the designs that we've got listed at the moment. There are some new ones that will be coming up at some point soon. But you can buy your Ingress Insights mug, hats, t-shirts, tote bags, anything like that you want. Thank you again for listening. Hope you tune in next week. If you do like the show, please do rate it on the podcast service you're listening to. I look forward to speaking with you all about Ingress again.
Intel package transferred.